Ever try packing your favourite board game on a trip only to find your bag bursting at the seams? We've all been there, lugging around the heavy backpack, struggling with bulk and still missing out on the fun. But what if I told you there's a smarter way to travel with games? Today, we're diving into the world of travel-sized board games that are compact, lightweight and just as exciting. Say goodbye to the heavy lifting and hello to easy, breezy gaming on the go.
My number 5 recommendation is Rafter 5. Now, I absolutely love this game, and I would say any Oink game is a brilliant travel style of game. If you're going on holiday, camping, anything like that, Oink games are absolutely made for that type of situation.
All the Oink games are like so good for travel games, aren't they? Like everyone is just pocket size. There's usually like tons of value packed into them. Super exciting games, the whole range. It's funny that Rafter 5 is our number 5. Tell us what's so great about it.
It says 5 on the box, so
Okay,
it
yeah,
made it easy
all
to pick 5.
Should we move on to the next one?
Let's go to the next one. But no, seriously, the reason I've picked Rafter 5 over all the other Oink games is what Rafter 5 does different. It's a dexterity game. And to bring a dexterity game on holiday with you almost seems like the impossible thing to do. This makes it possible. The premise of the game, really simple. Together, you're building your raft as big as you can without knocking off your opponent's treasure. So why is it great for summer? First of all, you're on a raft in water. Summer activity.
I feel like this game was made for some holidays, wasn't it?
To start, simply stack the box top and the bottom to create a base, and then place 5 wooden rafter pieces on the starting card on top of the base. The gameplay itself is really simple. Lift a rafter, place a raft, replace the rafter. Place a treasure chest, and that is it. So the turns continue following those same sequences of actions. One player followed by the next player, followed by the next player. The aim of the game is to get your opponent to knock your treasure off of the raft. They then have to collect your treasure and place them onto their board. If they knock off their own treasure, that's absolutely fine. They're just going to return those back to their own supply. If a player collects 5 treasure chests owned by the other players in their hold, they're out of the game. The reason it's my recommendation, first of all, I think it's a very clever use of the box itself. I mean, that is literally what everything is contained within, and then it becomes a game component as well, which I think is just brilliant.
It looks so cool on the table, doesn't it?
Secondly, components. I mean, just look at the components on this. Beautiful little wooden components. You got the little people, meeples. They're kind of meeples, but
they're strange looking meeples.
They're strange meeples. Then the card quality as well. That is actually a dual-led board. How often, not even Terraforming Mars gave us dual-led boards. Terraforming Mars sort it out. Perfect for when you're on a camping trip because your components, they're not going to go flying off, which is exactly what you need when you're on holiday in a tent, playing by the side of a pool, whatever. The other thing is the rules. Now, I don't know how much experience you've had with Oink games. They're not usually translated the best. But this game, really straightforward. The rules are actually pretty decent for a Oink game. And it is, to be honest with you, a fairly simple game to understand. The box also says it plays 1 to 6 players. And you know what? It actually does play the entire player count really well. Except one player. I mean, who wants to play a dexterity game by themselves? Great for all ages.
As long as they're reasonably dexterous, right? If they can stack 3 blocks. If you can stack 3 blocks.
Pretty much every age group. You're literally picking up cards, placing them down like so, and then place a treasure in a position where it might fall over on the next turn, because that's what you kind of want to do. You want your opponents to knock over the treasure so that they take the hit for it. And on top of that, I think with many dexterity games, there's a lot of funny moments just in things going wrong. It gives you the ability for some really laugh out loud moments. Watching other people fail is like my favorite thing.
Dexterity games really favor themselves for those sort of experiences, and this one is no exception. It really captures those moments, and it's so fun watching people fail.
And it's a really quick game. 10 to 15 minutes, you will have the entire game played out. It is just so good. 100% recommend this game. The only maybe downside, and the reason it's in my 5 spot, you need a fairly stable base. Put a book down maybe, and you'll be fine. Other than that, it is just the most perfect little summer game.
It's not ideal for like the train ride or the plane ride, but like poolside, this is perfect.
You got a fancy train.
Or maybe on a raft.
On a raft.
On a raft,
yeah. Playing Rafter 5.
That sounds like a great idea.
That's a bad idea though. Check it out, guys. I 100% recommend this one.
This sard is Kiri-Ai. This inconspicuous little wallet is actually a game, a fully fledged game I was super excited the first time I saw this one. Let me show you it. In Kiri-Ai, you step into the sandals of a samurai in a duel. Now, how cool does this sound? It already sounds amazing, this game, right? It's got the most amazing packaging. Like, how cool is this? It's literally just like a wallet, and it has a bunch of cards in it, which actually represent the game. And it's a really simple sort of hand management card game.
Why is this a pick for you for a summer game?
I think it's just the downright simplicity of it and how thematic it is. You wouldn't believe like this game with just a handful of cards can be so deep and so exciting. This is a great two-player game. It's got plastic cards, so if it's raining where you are on holiday, or if you're by the pool, you've got nothing to worry about here. It will survive. And the best thing about it is just how simple the rules are. Like literally, I will teach it to you in 5 minutes. So each player has a hand of cards, and it represents either your movements, your attacks, or your special attacks on the battlefield. At the beginning of the round, each player chooses 2 cards, and they place them face down on the battlefield and resolve them one after the other. And the cards can either make you retreat or advance or strike at your opponent. All you need to do is strike twice on your opponent and you win the game. One of the things I talk about a lot about in games is theme, because it captures your imagination when you're playing that game. I think ultimately it's not necessary. It's not necessary to have theme in the game. And I think most of the games on this list probably don't have huge amounts of theme. This one does. Like, this is literally the most thematic game on the list. It genuinely feels like you're striking and you're having this intense moment of battle with another samurai. It is super intense, super cool, quick games. You're just gonna get addicted to it. You're just gonna keep playing this and playing this. Because of the quick fire games as well, like you can literally set this up like a tournament, get it done in like half an hour, have a handful of games with a bunch of people. You'll have so much fun trying this out. There's not a lot of decision making in this, which is a good thing with these sort of games. There's literally 3 things you can do, but that doesn't take away from how deep it really is. It's simple to learn, but actually very difficult to master, because it's all about really figuring your opponent out, trying to suss out what are they going to do, what are they going to play next, what card are they going to play. And that's the beauty of this game.
One of the things I really love about the game is just how tiny this is. I mean, it is literally the smallest game out of all the games we're going to talk about today. You could take this anywhere with you.
You literally could just carry it around like a wallet, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to just leave it in my back pocket if I ever have a moment. I'm like, somebody on the train, I'm like, hey, you
Want to duel?
want to duel?
And I think you've already touched base on it earlier on, but yeah, the quality of the packaging itself, I think this is absolutely amazing. This little wallet, it has very authentic kind of theme to where the game was originally developed. The quality of the cards is, I'm actually amazed at how good the quality of the cards are. They're hard wearing.
It's a nice one for anyone's collection, this one. It is just cool to own this, even if you're not going to play it, just because how nicely produced it is.
It's a cool game, but I think my next game is even better.
No, really? What is it?
So my number 3 pick, Fairs, is Sushi Go. It's a really fast-paced card drafting and set collection game. What you're trying to do is you're collecting these cards and trying to collect the best kind of set of the certain cards, sushi dishes, and also puddings, because pudding is very important at the end of a good sushi meal.
It's the most important thing.
Dessert. You're making very strategic decisions on what cards to keep and then what cards to pass along. But you have to be really careful in this game. If you pass the wrong card to the wrong person, they might end up scoring crazy. So you're really watching everybody in this game. And that is what is so brilliant about Sushi Go. And for me personally as well, it taught me about drafting. Going into play Magic the Gathering, this game made me understand what I'm actually trying to do when I draft. And I think that's just brilliant.
I think this is like a natural fit for anybody who's like an MTG player but doesn't want to take their precious commander deck with them on holiday. Like it's like 20 quid for this, right? It's an absolute bargain, and you still get that awesome drafting experience. This is one of the best of its kind. It's not a new game. It's one of the older games on this list, but that goes to show just how great it is and how timeless it is.
And also, if this video was my video, not Fairs' video, I would have probably put this at number 1.
We've got some special ones for number 1 though. All right, why do you think this is so perfect for like travel games and summer games?
Portable, and it takes up very little space. But more importantly, it also takes up very little space when you're actually playing the game. It is literally just a deck of cards in here, and that is it. You're going to be taking up about this much space. There's a deck of cards, and you're going to have cards in front of you. And that's it. That's all you need. This is all the space, and you are good to go, which is brilliant for a summer game, in my opinion. I'm thinking camping. I'm always thinking camping because that's my preferred choice for a summer activity. You're thinking poolside. Takes up very little. I mean, it's like we're in the pool right now, playing it on the side of the pool, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what, the card stock's not bad as well. I think it's probably reasonably waterproof, the cards as well, isn't it?
I wouldn't want to test it.
Train rides, plane rides, I think this is probably like an ideal fit for that. Yeah. It really does not take a lot of space. You could be sitting in a line, you could be sitting around a table. Probably both would work.
Cool game.
Very cool game.
The aim of the game is to score the most points by the end of the game through collecting various sushi and dessert cards. The gameplay sequencing itself, really straightforward. You deal cards, each player receives a hand of cards, then you draft the cards, which just means you select one of the cards to keep, place it face down, then you go through the revealing card stage, so all the players will reveal their chosen cards simultaneously, pass the remaining cards to the next player, and then you repeat drafting with a new hand. And that is it. Scoring, once again, really straightforward. You score collections based on rules after all cards are drafted and revealed. My experience with the game and the reason for my recommendation of this one, first and I think foremost, is there's enough strategy in this game without becoming overwhelming.
I think this is a family game in every respect. Like it balances it so perfectly of simplicity and depth. I could sit down and play this quite happily, and I think some younger members of the audience would probably have a lot of fun with it too.
In my experience and some of the stuff I love about the game, it's about finding balance. It's about finding open lanes. It's about understanding what everyone else is doing around you. It makes you very aware of everything. It's really quick to set up and start, shuffle the deck and go. And even better than that, it's really quick to clean up as well. Put the cards together, stick it in the box, you're done. Games, once again, really quick in this one. 15-20 minutes for a full game, so you can play multiple games of this. And I think especially when you're on holiday, that is such a key point. Quick games. You don't want to spend the entirety of your holiday playing these games. These are just filler, and that's what's amazing about Sushi Go. It is one of the ultimate filler games. Holiday or no holiday, this is just a brilliant game.
Yeah, I think everyone should own this game. It is actually just such an awesome game.
Another great thing for holidays, there's no language barrier on the game. It's about understanding colors, it's about understanding numbers. So if you're on holiday somewhere abroad where they not speak English and you're trying to make friends, this is a really cool way of doing so.
Yeah, I never thought about that. It is pretty language agnostic, isn't it? Like, it's more just about the numbers, and it's usually pretty simple maths. It's not particularly complex.
I'm already feeling kind of hungry right now.
Right, let's go get sushi.
Let's go get food. My legs hurt anyway.
So this is where it starts getting really exciting. It sounds like it's a game about Vikings. And in truth, it's not really got anything to do with Vikings. It's not really that thematic. But it is actually an excellent game regardless. This is actually very similar to a game that came out a couple of years ago that was insanely popular. But we'll come back to that.
So why did you pick Odin for your summer pick?
First of all, look at the size of this box. Like, it's literally, it's tiny. Like, there's literally just a deck of cards in this. It's got a multi-language rule book in it. And then all it really is just a hand of cards. This can just literally fit in your pocket, you know, in your man purse or in an actual purse.
You're making fun of my man purse.
And the game is actually super simple. All you really need to be able to do to play this game is to be able to count to, like, you know, 1,000 or something like that. So the age requirement is pretty low on this. And it's got this beautiful, bright color aesthetic to it as well, which is just gonna appeal to so much of the family. On the back of the box, it does say the games last about 15 minutes. And actually, when we played it, it was pretty much like 15-20 minutes that we were actually playing the game. I think it's got the perfect length for a game, particularly for holiday games when it shouldn't be too long. Like you said, 15 minutes is the sweet spot for these kind of games. It really does not take up a lot of space. So, like, you could literally play this, again, on the plane, on the train. You know, if you're going to the pub in the evening or something, you know, you could totally take that with you. It does not take a lot of space. Like, you could just literally have like a small coffee table, and that is enough space to play this game, even with a handful of people. Talking of people, I think the sweet spot is kind of like 3+ for this game. I think that the larger player counts were a bit more fun when we were playing it.
4 to 5 is really good.
Yeah, 4 to 5, I think that was a sweet spot for me too. I liked it at 4 players. So setup's really simple. You've got a deck of 54 cards, each with 6 different suits. Each suit has the numbers 1 to 9. After you shuffled it, you deal out 9 cards to each player and put the remaining cards in the deck to the side. The game itself, you play over a handful of rounds, which usually lasts several minutes, and you're trying to get rid of your cards as quickly as possible. So the first player will take 1 card and place that in the middle, and that will be the starting number. And then you take turns trying to play a larger number than what's already in the middle of the table.
The quirk of this is that you can play multiple cards of either the same color or number.
And those multiple cards then make a sequence of numbers. For example, if I had the cards 1, 2, and 3 in my hand, I could play them all together, but I would have to play them from the largest number to the smallest number. So if I played those cards, it would come out as 3, 2, 1, and it'd be the number 321. And as long as that is a larger number than the number that was played before it, you have a successful turn. You play those 3 cards down and you take 1 card from beneath it back into your hand. And then the next player has to try and beat that number. And it keeps going round until somebody's got rid of all of their hand. The losers then take the remaining cards in their hand and score points. So these are like negative points. The first person to get to 15 points calls the end of the game, and the person with the lowest number of points wins the game. So simple. So when I first heard about this game, I thought it sounded kind of like Scout.
Very similar.
It actually does play kind of like Scout too. It's simpler than Scout. I prefer this to Scout. I actually think the simplicity of this just makes it an easier game to pick up and get to the table. Those first few rounds are really straightforward and streamlined in this way. I feel like in Scout, like 2 rounds in and it then starts to make sense. You know, people are on holiday, they're excited about everything, they have low attention spans, they just want to get into a game really quickly.
Yeah.
And I think this does it better than Scout. It's a great little game. You should probably own both of those games. Scout definitely has a bit more complexity, it definitely has more depth, but the simplicity of this game makes it more suitable for taking on holiday with you.
Teaching this game to younger audiences was easier for me compared to Scout. I remember having a few difficult moments with Scout, especially when you've got the cards locked in hand with Scout. I think that was kind of what makes it probably more complex, where this has a lot more freedom, where you're not locked into a certain set.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the strategy of locking your cards in a particular way and putting them upside down and whatnot. But sometimes you don't necessarily want that sort of strategy or that much thinking. It works better as like a drinking game than this, doesn't it? I think Scout might be slightly too complex to be a drinking game, where this is probably just about right.
I mean, it probably doesn't mean much, but I also prefer the artwork on the Odin compared to Scout.
Anything with Vikings is just immediately better than something without Vikings.
There's one game which is better than Odin.
What game is that?
Let's go have a look.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
You know, as great as all of these games are, and they're all great games in their own right, but there is one game that trumps them all. That game, Fairs, is Cockroach Poker.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you.
So Cockroach Poker has nothing to do with poker, and it's a game about not collecting sets,
So like a anti-set collection game?
which has nothing to do with poker. So it's got bluffing.
Okay.
The aim of the game, really simple. Force somebody else to collect a set of 4 little critters, and they lose the game. There's no winners in Cockroach Poker, but there's always a loser.
All right, go on, tell me, why Cockroach Poker? Why is this the #1 travel game of all time?
Because you said it is.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said Cockroach Poker has to be #1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It says it on the
It
script.
says it right here on the script. I'm reading it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But the real reason is, I mean, first of all, tiny little box. In fact, this is excessive for what is actually inside of this box.
It is just a deck of cards, isn't it?
Yes, it is less cards than something like Odin. It could even go in a box smaller than Odin. I would have loved to have seen that. Actually, that would have been so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like a Kiri-Ai type
Yeah,
of.
like a
Yeah.
wallet for the Cockroach Poker.
Maybe we'll take the Cockroach Poker cards out and put them in Kiri-Ai.
I think people need to learn from this game. Just make everything in a wallet that
Yeah.
can fit in a wallet.
It is incredibly accessible to all types of players. It's so easy to learn. Even though the first time I played it and somebody explained it to me, I was like, what are you talking about? You see the first turn happen, you get it. You know exactly what to do. And I would say a wide variety of age groups as well. As young as 6 even. It is that easy a game to learn.
Yeah, as long as somebody can tell a fib, they'll be fine to play this game.
Kids are usually very good at lying, so at least mine is. And why summer? Outdoorsy, creatures, critters, no?
I think in truth, you know, it's a small enough game that you can take on holiday with you. Everyone's laugh out loud moments when you're away.
Yeah, and this is full of them.
This is full of them. Like, I have to talk about this moment. I literally actually just came back from holiday. It was late at night and I was going to bed and everyone else wanted to play Cockroach Poker. So being the old stooge I was, I went to bed, but got woken up half an hour later by all of my friends rolling on the floor laughing because they were playing this game. And then every 10 minutes they would just break out in laughter. This is just filled with moments of laughter. It deserves to be on the #1 purely for that.
In Cockroach Poker, you shuffle all the cards and then deal the entire deck out to all players. Cockroach Poker can play anywhere from 2 all the way up to 6 people. And voila, setup is all complete. The active player will then choose any card from their hand and place it on the table face down. and then we'll slide it over to anybody else of their choosing. And they will say that this is a cockroach. And now the chosen person will have two options. Option one is to call out the active player and guess whether they're either telling the truth or they're bluffing. If they guess correctly, you slide the card back to the active player and they have to place it face up in front of them. If they guess incorrectly, they keep the card. Or option two, have a peek, pass it along, and the game continues. The active player can then pass the card along to whoever hasn't already seen it prior to them. And only until the last person on the table who has not seen it, they will have to accept the card. And the rounds continue until one person ends up collecting a set of 4 critters. It's at this point you throw your head back, point your finger, and start laughing at the loser. And don't be shy to give somebody the L. They deserve it. This game is not just a good game, it is a great game. It is an excellent game. Summer game, pub game, this fills so many slots and is usually the number 1 game for all of those criteria. And for £10 or less than £10,
There's no reason to not own this game at that price, is there? Like, well, why hasn't everyone just got this in their man purse?
again with my man purse. What have we got against my man purse? It has infinite replayability. Like you said, your friends played it all night. You just want to play it again, another one. You just keep going. You don't even care about who's lost, how many times they've lost. As I mentioned, really easy to teach, and more importantly, easy to teach to a large group.
Whether you enjoy board games or whether you don't enjoy board games, you will love this game. Like, I've never played this and it's just not landed with the group that I've played it with.
And honestly, it is a very smart and thinky game for how simple the rule set is. There's a lot really going on here. How am I gonna end up playing this card out? Is everyone gonna be on my same wavelength as well? Maybe you're not my actual target, maybe my target is further down the line, but do you understand that that is my target and not you? You know?
So much just about reading your opponents, isn't it? And I think the better you know your group, the more fun you're gonna have with this. It's guaranteed to generate some immense amount of laughs for you.
And you know what? When things pan out, it is such a rewarding feeling. And that, Fez, is why Cockroach Poker is my number 1, your number 1, and it should be everyone's number 1.
It is the number 1 travel size game of 2024 and probably beyond. We'll probably recommend this lots more in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help out the channel, why not click on the link below to check out our website, gatheringames.co.uk, where we sell all of these board games and lots more, and everything tabletop gaming. If you like these small box style games or games that work well in social occasions, and you want more recommendations of them, then click over here and check out our top 10 party games of all time.
You've put the box on my head again, haven't you?
No,